Hi, this is Leena Gopinath. Today, welcome to the channel. I am discussing about Microsoft Copilot for Business for the AI enthusiast, especially in terms of AI curiosity to the business productivity that how we can achieve that. Um, uh, I'm very new to this channel, and so welcome on board. About me. I'm actually software engineer with several years of experience. I'm currently the director for DNE Limited, and D Automation is an AI subsidiary for DNE, particularly focused on AI use cases and the training and supporting businesses, small and large, like. So let's start. Today, we're going to discuss about Microsoft 365 Copilot for Business, and let's go through that. Now, on the different program modules, I'm currently, let me just change this into, let me just change it into the display mode. Yeah. So in the program modules, we have mainly 10 modules where we would be looking through the AI fundamentals and then how AI can be adopted in any of those organizations. So I will try to explain it as an equivalent to a beginner. So this is just the beginning, and I would help you in go through how we can do it, through some use cases. We will go through that and then understand how we can use Copilot. Bear with me on this one. So, starting with, we will go through the introduction and why AI, and also we'll understand Microsoft 365 Copilot. We also go through the prompt engineering for the Copilot, and because it is a Microsoft equivalence in the Microsoft tooling for the AI, how it is working with the Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, also with Teams. We'll have a look into that. Also, Microsoft Copilot business use cases, and then eventually we will try to build an AI adoption strategy towards it. Obviously, all of this is not going to be in this particular session. I would split in these multiple sessions to go through that. And so, in the first session, what we will do is we can have an introduction on Copilot for business. So today's goal is moving beyond an understanding on AI, how we are also learning about how to use AI as a practical business assistant. So, as you said, I'm Leena Gopinath. Mm, I'll try to answer to the questions as much as possible, and I'm also learning on the way. So bear with me on that one. Yeah. So, first of all, why are we talking about AI now? And I think for the past 2 years, there is a lot of change happened in the AI space, and many of our people in organizations, we've started using AI in a day-to-day basis, right? AI has moved from its experimentation to an everyday business stage now. And organizations are currently using AI for reducing the repetitive work, analyze information faster, improve customer experiences, support its employees, sometimes creating new products and services, and making better decisions. So now the question is no longer back in 2024, 2023, wherein we were asking, should we use AI? So now the question in 2026 is, how do we use AI responsibly and effectively? That's the question for this. Now, AI is not new, so it has actually evolved over decades. So from the time when you look at it, 1950s, you had early AI researchers. In the 1990s, we have actually got a lot of growth in terms of machine learning use cases. In the 2010s, we have also emerged into companies have emerged into deep learning side of it. 2020s is the generative AI era, and today we have more and more using AI assistants and AI agents. So the key message is AI is not replacing human intelligence. It's actually extending the human capacity. So how do we get there? Well, let's look into that. Now, what is okay? So let's go into the definition for AI. What is artificial intelligence? Okay, it's actually a technology. We all know that now by that which enable computers to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. For example, understanding a language, so recognizing patterns, analyzing information, making recommendations, and generating content. So we've seen that there is a lot of difference with the AI. Earlier, it used to be very difficult in translating systems, translation for the languages. But with the introduction of AI, it's become much more easier, and we have a lot of apps, and more products are coming into the market, which makes it easier for people to integrate, people to understand. It is already several apps we have to check our blood pressure, or check the quality of a particular product. So it's become more and more easier. Now, you can also see, look at around your examples like navigation apps, email spams, online recommendations. We have a lot of voice assistants, and we also have fraud detections from with the help of AI. Now, let's compare what has happened with the traditional automation versus an AI automation. Now, earlier, traditional automation, if this happens, do this. So, for example, we all know the time when we were doing C coding, or C sharp, and then C plus plus, Visual Basic. So a lot of languages were there, Java, Python. We had a lot of different technical languages, and most of the time, in terms of an automation scenario, when you say that, developments were like an invoice arrives, then system checks certain fields, approval workflow starts, right? So it used to be like that because our programmers had done the coding, what system fields to be checked, what functionality to be checked, what error handling should be done, when the date, which date the invoice arrives. So if it's coming daily, all of this had to be coded by a human. As humans, we were doing these developments. Now, at the time of AI, what has changed is we can work with understanding, analyzing, and creating. So now it's much more easier in terms of reading an invoice. Okay, it was earlier reading an invoice, and then there should be business rules applied individually, and then needs to be checked on those individual rules on the invoice. Now, you don't have to code like that. You can have an AI agent which would understand what is saying in this particular invoice. It can scan any document, it can scan any invoice, understand the information, it can identify the issue and the recommend action. So now, earlier in an invoice, if there is a number different, or if there is the VAT is not calculated correctly, then unless the programmer or the program is programmed in such a way to identify that as an error, it wouldn't be picked up. Whereas in this case, with the AI automation, the AI models are really comprehensive, and it understands the information. It identifies the differences in the numbers, and it highlights those issues so that the person, be it our plumber, local plumber, be an electrician who is locally working and giving an invoice, and then he doesn't have the time, he is looking into a new job, he will be able to understand, okay, what's the difference, what's the issue identified, and then do an action recommended from the AI. So it becomes much more easier. It is much more convenient for a large number of our business users, like our common people, right? That's the difference. What is generative AI? Now, generative AI can create new content. It can generate text, such as emails, reports, documents, you know that. Images, it can have design ideas, visual content. So it could have images, videos, and all of that. You can have data insights, which is like analysis to be done, summary to be done, a pattern to be identified. It can also do coding, which is application scripts and automation. That's what a generative AI can do. So it can generate all this. Now, understanding of the large language models. So the you need to understand. You've heard that LLM. It's a common terminology now. They means large language models. So it is the technology behind the tools like Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. Now, LLMs are AI models. They are actually trained on huge volumes of data and information. They learn the pattern, like in language patterns, then document patterns, then the coding, then information structures. They can actually understand your request, it can generate the responses, it can summarize an information, it can transform the content. So, this is what a large language model tooling inside a particular AI tool can help. Now, important reminder, AI does not know the facts like a human. It generates responses based on patterns. So AI may not know that the nuances of a particular scenario because it just looks at patterns. It looks at the data that is fed with. It doesn't know an answer unless it is told a particular context to that. So if you ask the same question in two different contexts, it will never give you the same answer, mainly because you need to know it only recognizes the responses based on the patterns and it doesn't know the fact. So AI is still not like human. We still need human to validate and authenticate some of the scenarios, especially with the AI use cases. Now, what is a Microsoft Copilot? So you have an AI assistant inside the Microsoft 365. Microsoft Copilot work with its tools so that employees already using Word, Excel, PPT, a PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint, all these can be working. So AI, it works as an AI assistant to all these tools inside the Microsoft landscape. Copilot help you to create, analyze, summarize, communicate, and collaborate. So that's where I would stop, and we can go in through the details in the next session. Until then, let's give me feedback how this is working. I'm going through these small sessions of requirements, like I'll go through a topic. I'll try to see that how it will help, and then I can actually come up with some of those templates or business scenarios, how it is actual scenarios, how it gets used in a case. So in the next session, I'll walk you through the theory, plus I can actually show you some actual use cases. Okay. Thanks for listening in, and I'm signing off. Please follow my channel and then give me feedback so I can improve on that. Thank you.